What's up, Internet? My name's Ian Bloom. Welcome to Nerd Finance. I'm your resident financial life planner and huge nerd. In today's episode, we are going to be covering collectibles as a portion of your assets and how collectibles can fit into your overall financial plan. So here's my hot take on it. Collectibles don't fit into your overall financial plan most of the time. I know, that's a boring take, right? You've probably heard that before, but let me tell you about why, because I think that is a way more interesting conversation than no, your collectibles don't matter. Because they do matter, they just matter a little bit differently. There are two reasons that I think collectibles don't really make up a good portfolio, and the first is sentimental value. You see, most collectors really love their collections, which is why they started collecting in the first place. And as it turns out, nobody is almost ever going to be willing to pay you what you think something is worth based on the sentimental value, what you paid for it, and all of that. Most collections are going to get sold at half of retail value or 60% of retail value if they're a particularly valuable large lot, or if they have some specifically valuable items, they might make it to auction. But most of the time you're not going to recoup your investment, and you're certainly not going to recoup your investment plus time spent finding them, plus the emotional attachment you have to them. The second reason I don't think collectibles fit into an investment portfolio very well is because they're usually concentrated in one specific type of collectible. You see, collections, again, for emotional reasons, are usually centered on a passion that the collector had when they were building the collection. So in my case, I love Magic the Gathering cards. You can see some deck boxes behind me on my shelf. And Magic the Gathering cards are published by Wizards of the Coast, which is a subsidiary of Hasbro. And if they make some stupid business decisions, it could go to zero. Now that's super unlikely. There are millions of people playing Magic and the game's actually growing very well. But that said, I'm not basing my future financial security on my Magic the Gathering collection, even though it is pretty valuable. And I do have another client, by the way, that actually has a pretty valuable collection in the hundreds of thousands of dollars range of comic books and movies, and it's a little bit more diversified, but ultimately it still centers on things he's passionate about. So we don't necessarily include it in his financial plan for the two aforementioned reasons. Because A, he wouldn't want to sell it, and B, even if he did want to sell it, he probably wouldn't get what he felt was worth it. Now, what we did do, however, is purchase collectibles insurance to make sure that if, a fire happened or something, he was compensated for the loss and the emotional loss of his collection. Because as it turns out, having hundreds of thousands of dollars in pieces of paper effectively can be a little risky if you don't have insurance to cover it. So, wrapping this all up, I don't think that collectibles, specifically physical collectibles, often make up a good percentage of somebody's investment portfolio in the best of worlds. But what I do think is that the emotional value combined with the financial value of the collection can make it a bit of a passion project and a hobby, and a good place to spend your hobby dollars instead of, going to do something repeatedly that doesn't provide any value. So I hope that this take was a little bit more interesting than just no, your collectibles aren't valuable. But ultimately, I think that if your financial security rides on a particular collection, you should probably start diversifying your assets quite a bit. Thanks so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. Like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video, and stay tuned for more.